So, welcome to the blog. I've made other videos where I'm wearing this exact outfit and talked about how these separate pieces were actually worn by men who were performing feats of athleisure. For example, what we now know as the polo shirt, and of course you think when polo shirt, you're thinking of that collared peep cotton shirt for Ralph Lauren, that originally was worn by tennis players. The Oxford shirt was worn by people playing polo. That's a polo shirt. What I'm getting at is, for polite society, whether you were hunting or playing something, an athletic endeavor, with the exception of football, basketball, baseball, the American sports that originated and were populated here, polite society still wore collars while you were doing anything resembling an athletic endeavor. And that was considered appropriate, true, and the norm for every stage of your little socioeconomic ladder. And the ideal of not having a collar on when you were doing something like an athletic endeavor, and that included hunting and fishing and all that stuff. Those were all considered sport. Came with the rise of the jerseys that we see in American sports. Again, kind of around the same time, early 20th century, especially with baseball. But even if you go really, really far back to turn of the century, the clothes, even as jerseys, were very much more formal and structured. Do yourself a favor, go back and look at beach day videos from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. They're fully covered, very conservative ideologies. What I'm getting at also is, out of that grew this, which by the standards of the day was athleisure. This isn't, obviously this isn't made together as a suit. This is, types of separates. But the way you recognize this now is, and I jokingly refer to this as my yacht club / country club outfit. Even though this isn't proper, this isn't double-breasted, it's kind of in line with what evolved in that time period and is very, very, very semi-formal and informal, and in certain restaurants, especially in Europe. And it doesn't matter, you're not going to get invited to these sort of private clubs and restaurants. There's certain gentlemen's clubs, especially in Europe, where if you show up dressed like this, you're still not within dress standards. So take that for what it's worth. It's a really fascinating thing. There's a line in the very divisive, but I love the movie Tenet, the movie with the time travel and all that other stuff. The same guy that did, the same director that did Oppenheimer and is doing the Odyssey and then the Batman movies, Christopher Nolan. He's got a very divisive time travel spy movie called Tenet. And in one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the scene where the hero, who's this American spy, is having dinner with Michael Caine, and they're both in suits, and I think 3-piece suits. And at the end of the conversation, after Michael Caine has given the hero the information he needs, after the hero gets up and walks away, Michael Caine berates his suit, saying that if you're going to walk in these circles, Brooks Brothers just won't cut it. And I love that scene because it's just amazing how different levels of this, especially when you're talking about the old world, the old guard, have different levels of formality, what can and can't be worn. And as nice as this may or may not look to you, is terribly informal to certain aspects of polite society. And with that, let me change suits.